This. I love this. Welcome to another video on this channel. Today I will play in one of the forgotten regions of Kaiserreich, India. Well, since a year ago they did get a little bit of a touch-up, but that was it for now and probably for a while. Anyway, I will play as the Princely Federation and create an Indian empire. So let's head in. And here we are as the Princely Federation. Now, I think a year ago, actually a year ago, I said I'm gonna do Princely Federation. Really for them. So yeah, I never did that. Yeah, because I think over a year ago they gave the Indians a bit of a touch up, not really a full rework, but just so that their content isn't ancient. Yeah, and I'm fine with that. At least it's it's a lot more flavorful than it was before. So it's also a bit nicer to look at because this is not a focus tree, and it's still kind of the same thing. You either build up your army, your industry, whatever you want, and then you unify India, and then we take maybe a bit more land, and that's kind of it then. But a bit more options here and there for small things, and also a few more focuses, and also updated focus icons because goddammit, the old ones were old. They also got a new one as well as the Dominions. But still, it's not a full rework, it's just some small touch-ups a year ago. And looking at their FAQ section on their Discord server, there's also no actual India rework in the works or something. So until major things happen over here, it's probably gonna take a while. So yeah, but for now we have our things here now, I guess. They are better than nothing. So, how do we get India into this position? Well, as you know, Indians fought alongside the British during World War I, mainly in the hopes of, achieving home rule or greater autonomy for India under Britain. This, however, would be quashed in the wake of Britain's defeat in the Great War, leading to much resentment against British rule, since they sacrificed their life for them and gained literally nothing. One of I think the most prominent Indian independence movements was the Indian National Congress, and in the wake of the British Revolution they began a revolt against the Brits, which almost conquered all of India. Whatever the strength Britain had remained around Punjab, so around here. However, the princes in the south were they didn't really like the socialist regime up there because they know they're gonna depose them. So they banded together under Osman Ali Khan and they formed a princely federation, a federation of princes. And this led to the British troops up here and then these guys down there, which was two-front war now for the Indian National Congress. And the British regained some of their land here, and the fronts stalemated afterwards. And now we're preparing to finally either get rid of these losers or we die. We are in a tacit alliance with the British, mainly because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But once that enemy is gone, there's only one enemy remaining then. But for now, everything should be fine with them, right? Anyway, in these interwar years, not everything has been fine down here, since Osman Ali Khan, he is abusing his powers, making the Federation more and more autocratic. And the other princes, of course, aren't too happy about that. We can see the Council of Princes right here, though this is, I think, purely cosmetic, so you can't really interact there or do anything there. And yeah, I think these four guys here, not this one in the middle. These four here are the big four, the ones that now banding together against his rule, against Osman's rule. So yeah, that's where we are at. Our nation is trash, to say the least. We have widespread rural poverty and disorder in council. Yeah, that's not great, since we have almost 100 million core population, and this is reducing what we can recruit from that by a lot. So getting rid of that is gonna be great. However, I think only after unifying we can really, you know, clamp down on that. Yeah. So we can get rid of it like a little bit over here. Now, you know, at least our economy is doing fine. So, you know, let's try and, you know, get a bit more from that. I don't think like anything could happen that would, you know, destroy our economy or something, you know. Now, we have, you know, an army. However, someone forgot to equip them, which, you know, shame on whoever decided to do that. And yeah, we will be mainly preparing for the eventual war, which is gonna probably happen pretty early since they can do this, yeah, like in a year, basically. They can, like, in over a year. Shortly over a year, they can start their focus and declare us, which, you know, meaning we don't have that much to prepare for this war. However, same goes for them in the north then too. They also don't have that much time then. So let's try and produce some equipment, which we're gonna be needing. We're also gonna focus on mainly mills because we don't have the time to build this. And yeah, starting research, and we also start with a balance of power. Now, for the path we're gonna be doing today is gonna be the same as I did in my live stream a year ago, and that is going national populist. Yeah, you have multiple options. So, you know, our main options, of course, are you know, Osman being in charge or the princess being in charge. But we can also kind of get a bit more democratic and liberal, I suppose, over here. But yeah, I will of course go with the most wholesome path there is, you know, national populist, always as wholesome as ever. And yeah, let's begin. And yeah, as I said at the beginning, the political situation down here in the south is not the best, since Osman has been abusing his emergency powers granted to him by the constitution that he drafted. You know, becoming more and more frequent, especially over like the most minute of things. And, you know, with this, the big four, so like the four main princes of the Council of Princes, have begun rallying against him. However, they are only really united in their opposition to Osman's authoritarianism. So for now, it is hard to say if the Federation will survive another decade if this keeps up. And yeah, these clashes between Osman and the Big Four has kind of escalated now, as they proposed a national Diwan, which would kind of take away some power from Osman, which, yeah, he of course did not like a bit. Immediately vetoing this proposal and also proroguing the council for the remainder of the session, and immediately leaving, you know, so that they cannot have some arguments with him. And even the observer from Madras was a bit about this, but he also did not really fully like the proposals the princess did. But yeah, surviving another year, let alone a decade, is starting to seem generous at this point. And yeah, the balance of power is mainly, you know, the balance of power between Osman and the Council of Princes. Well, seems like our economy is in the dump. Isn't that great, guys? Black Monday has arrived and, you know, will not help his popularity. Let's try and deal with it. Oh god. Honestly, just for a year, and, you know, we kind of reduce the time anyway with these focuses. It's kind of generous, so the Black Monday is not as bad as others. Honestly, in my opinion, they have one of the worst Black Mondays, because, you know, you have to wait until you really can get rid of it, like 1st of September. They just set it for a year to go away, bro. Like, come on, man. Let us recruit Mirza Muhammad Ismail as our first advisor, since he's a silent workhorse, so we get more political power, which we're gonna be needing, because, you know, our second in command, the Council of Princes, is taking away political power, so that's not really that great. We do get it a bit back if we, you know, go over there. Yeah, we need a bit of political power. Speaking of politics, now there were a couple of events dealing with issues here and there. I kind of skipped them because, like, it's not really that important. The main thing to note is we're increasing his power more and more, and the same will be with the appointment of the new Chief Justice, and that will be Ali Khan, as the Nizam trusts that he will rule more fairly. And yeah, Black Monday is now dealt with, 4 focuses, and, you know, the time has been reduced as much. So when did it hit us? Like February? Yeah, February, or yeah, like around February it hit us, and now it's already gone. Germany could never. And yeah, with Black Money gone, all I'm gonna focus on now is, you know, getting some of these these things here and there, I guess. Now, another player here in the south, however not a big one, is the Council of Muslim Unity. And they are pretty much in support of Nizam and even want the Council of Princes be fully abolished and, you know, have he rule as autocrat, I guess, in hopes of reforming the Federation to protect the interests of Muslims and that the Federation's laws could be modeled upon Sharia alliance. The Big Four and even close advisors of Osman are not happy with this group and he wants, him to distance himself from them. But, I mean, they have a point, you know that? Let us now get Syed Ahmed El Idros as our Chief of Army, so that we get a bit of army experience to change the templates before we get declared upon, Now, another potential ally Osman has against the Big Four is here, as he has invited the man to Hyderabad to discuss, plans, what to do with the Big Four. And his proposal is to limit Osman's power, but in a way that would hurt the Big Four a lot, more than it would hurt him. Of course, it's great and all, but Osman, is not too happy that his power is also gonna get limited a bit. Such a plan hardly seems needed, but it shall be kept in mind. Plan B, basically. And after the meeting with Iyer, a certain Kazim Razvi has also met with Osman. Razvi is connected with the Council of Muslim Unity, and he has proposed that Osman dissolve the council and for Osman to assert his rule over the Federation. His argument stressed his belief that it is the Nasim's right as a great Muslim ruler to be the sole leader of the Federation. So he's just, showing the same thing as the Council for Muslim Unity. The plan is not that viable right now, but it is great to know that we have, loyal men in the army that back us. If the time comes, the Nazim knows who to call. Let's also get the compassionate gentleman for the compliance, which we're going to be needing later on to core everything, and also to get some political power more. Now we actually do get good political power, even with our debuffs here and there. The plus 30% are great here. The weakness ability is not so great there, but who cares about that? Anyway, let's now get over to our army tree and do a few things here, I guess, mainly equipment and military factories. And now with Osman having consolidated enough power, he launched the Jubilee coup. Having finally been given the opportunity to rid himself of the turbulent princess once and for all, the Nizam last night issued the order to Razvi to seize the Big Four, who were on their way to Hyderabad to take part in the upcoming Durbar. Being brought to Osman in the early hours of the morning under armed guard, the Nizam laid out in simple terms to them that he would be disbanding the council and that all four of them would be standing with him in support as he announces it at the upcoming Durbar. Such a bold statement prompted immediately angry outbursts from the princess, although a quick punch to Varma's stomach by the Razakar quickly put them into their place. Demanding to know what will happen to them even if they surrender to Osman's threats, they were informed that he does not wish to see them come to any further harm and that they will simply be allowed to continue ruling their own states within the Federation for as long as they submit to Osman's leadership, making clear that the Razakars would be posted in their states to ensure compliance with these reasonable demands. The Big Four soon realized that they had no other choice left but to comply. The Federation shall no longer be held back by these petulant princes. Well, now all the power to us. Isn't that great? And now with the Durbar proclamation, the Federation shall at last remove its shackles. And now we have a dissolved legislature, which it's actually not really that great, but whatever. Oh, I'm getting some guns and support equipment from the Dominion. That's actually great. That's exactly what I need. I changed the template a little bit to this. I still have to wait until I get my machine guns, until I can add them. And yeah, it's gonna cost even more, but whatever. Also, all my templates are this. And let's also hire our loyal general as our political advisor. And yeah, with, May arriving, of course, they're immediately gonna do the focus to declare declare on us. So yeah, we'll be at war any moment now, but it should be fine. You know, the good thing for us is they are forced on a two-front war. Though the bad part is I don't know how reliable these guys are. Actually, they should be fine. That should be. Though my front kind of is balls because of the rivers, forests, and mountains. I mean, there's one mountain. There's some mountains here, I guess. But like, oh, there's flat terrain. So maybe we can push through here and do some silly things, I guess. Might be the best plan, but yeah. I do have over 8 factories. So let's also, by the way, get an agency and the propaganda upgrade. I've still forgot the name. It gives us compliance basically in Kaiserreich. And yeah, with machine guns being researched, we can also add them now. Heavy weapons, I guess. Not really machine guns. This one, psychological warfare, not propaganda. Yeah, whatever. Compliance here in Kaiserreich, so it's pretty worthwhile getting that. Alright, they declared war. Japan is being very generous, and Germany is sending us volunteers, so that's great. For now, I'm gonna remain defensive since I'm not fully equipped and can't really push, and you know, I wanna let them drain their resources by attacking my line the entire time. We have good defensive positions with forests and rivers, but you know, there's also this big gap here with plains, which is not great, especially also the plains over here in the river. So let's see and hope that we can manage this. Great. The Ottomans are also sending us volunteers, the Ottomans. Now, we could get irregulars, which would be funny, but no, I will not. They've become kind of not really that great anymore. Let's get equipment, honestly. That's the best thing we can get right now. Let's get a Furist, and with that we can get the Grand Battle Plan and nothing more. Next time I should read the event before I select it. I thought this was like just event options where I can pick where I want to get equipment from, but no, I need opinion with them, so yeah, that was a waste of focus. Alright, managed to break through to here, and from there on I decided to get the supply up since the unit that was up there was low orc. Had to do one force attack, but yeah, managed to get the supply up there. Now I just need to wait until the railway is connected. Oh, never mind, it is connected. I just have to wait until the game recognizes the railway is connected, I suppose. Sadly didn't manage to encircle as much units as I was hoping, but still some units were encircled now here. And I got the supply up in the mountains here, which is pretty good. Before they could connect it again and get supplies. It's got large unit tactics and yeah, destroy this encirclement, I guess. We have a spy network, by the way, on them here, and you can see that this guy's not having any entrenchment, so that's gonna be great to encircle a few units, if you know what I mean. So they do have a port down there, so I kind of want to keep this like short, but they're pushing these guys now away from there, so that's not great. Anyway, let's try and get through there. Yeah, they have just 3 units standing on that stupid tile here, by the way, so yeah, still managed to, you know, encircle them like this, I guess. But yeah, so I need to be careful as they, you know, as my lines are getting pretty thin with, you know, me overextending here. Now, even though we are getting pushed back a bit here now, we just destroyed a lot of divisions here, so it was worth it. Like, their lines over here in the Dominion are already pretty thin. They're like having heavy things on me here, losers. But now with most of my army getting back on the front line, it should be fine. Someone else here is a bit early. Wonder if he did that literally also in 1937 again. King loser. And why are they fighting though? I think they allied and then they broke apart, right? Because they're not like done there. Or did they just rush conquest? No, they didn't rush conquest, so most likely that case that they allied. Oh yeah, they allied themselves. They wanted land down there and the Qing said nah, and then they said the fuck you mean nah. Gonna try and get to that supply up there, which is gonna destroy their supply lines, I hope. Actually yeah, should, because then they only have this up there and this one over there. And with that, we've crossed 2 rivers immediately, which is great. Also destroy some divisions again. The more we destroy, the better. Now, India is a nation that will not really need desperate defense, so even though it's smiling at me, I will not pick it, because I really don't need it. Let's get Grand Assault and wait for the supplies to actually, you know, be available. Oh, there's no railway connection. Let's fix that. Alright, we have pushed pretty far into their capital region, mainly because I'm looking to, you know, cut off their railways here. It would be great if they captured the port here, because that's the only thing that's gonna give them supplies then, since, you know, Calcutta is a port capital, sure, yeah. Anyway, let's try and cut them off. I hope I have enough troops for that. I should. Yeah, the template is still the same, by the way. Didn't change a bit there. And yeah, they're kind of cut off. I encircled even more troops, destroyed them, so, you know, even less troops. And yeah, it should be fairly easy. Oh yeah, they have Nepal, which I am just seeing. Didn't even see that. Anyway, let's try and push in there then, I guess. Shouldn't be too problematic. Okay, like, why do they cap them, bro? Come on, man. Come on, bruv. Alright, Calcutta is encircled. Let's try and take it and not siege it. And yeah, let's try and maybe getting to this big city because it's probably gonna make them cap them. Maybe. Just maybe, though. Oh, they got that railway back. Stop that. Deccan would be also great to have, to be honest. And yeah, let's not just activate the battle plan, mainly to get war score, because even though it was actually mostly me that did stuff here, you know, significant stuff, these guys are gonna still have like probably a lot of say in the peace deal. Also try and, you know, get rid of this whole stuff over there. Like only this city has to fall, but like they're kind of shit at that, doing that. Let's get out these divisions, put them on the front line. Okay, that's enough. Nice. All right, so it would be fairly easy to just, you know, cut them off, which I may or may not do. Can I actually get everything? I mean, they're already cut off, so every territory they have here is non-accessible for them. Actually, I can get everything. Wait, okay, that's crazy. So yeah, great alliance we had, my guy. Pretty cool, but sadly, there's only enough space for one of us. So you have to go, my guy. And yeah, future of the Bombay Pact now with, you know, our enemy vanquished. No much reason for us to be allied. Well, the Dominion demands we submit to them. Kind of bold of them to demand that, you know, looking at how the territory is, you know, divided here. Sure, my guy, if you think so. I'm gonna let them declare on me because then I get more war support. Actually, I don't think that's in Kaiserreich, to be honest, but whatever. No, they are pretty aggressive, which is not too great for them because that means they're, you know, not really entrenched, so I can easily just push through on certain tiles. So their capital is gonna fall to me now, which is gonna put all these troops over here in peril. And yeah, with me now getting more divisions, them getting cut half their army, well, not this, more than half their army in the north, I think it's over for these guys. Let's just activate the battle plan and watch them die. Yeah, there they go. And with that, we have now unified India, which, okay, why did I even advance and partially connect, bro? Which, of course, what we get as a reward for doing that, a lot of debuffs. Isn't that great? And, you know, our conscription and economic laws are getting reset. Just what you like to see. I mean, you know, makes sense with, you know, all the war that has been fought here now. It has to have some impact here, especially, you know, there are a lot of people here, so yeah. Anyway, India united. Okay, that's the first time I've seen this spot. Hunan government. What? Hunan Jili government? That's actually crazy. How did that even happen? This is honestly the most fun China I've ever seen, to be honest. Let's get the capital to Delhi, because it kind of looks weird with our capital down there, but whatever. I mean, if you played it, you can do what you want. So if you like the capital down there more, then play it yourself. Anyway, since we, you know, consolidated the Nizams, since we consolidated Osman Ali Khan's power and cemented his rule, we can now go down this route over here. So let's declare the Kaiser-i-Hind. And with the ceremony in Delhi concluded, a new man on the peacock throne, Osman is now the Emperor of India. Ya Osman. Anyway, let's harness the Razakars. You know, what could go wrong with empowering them? And yeah, let's ensure Muslim supremacy over India, which, you know, definitely not gonna lead to any problems. Anyway, before we do anything here, there, everywhere, let's first try and fix our problems, because right now we have one civilian factory that's doing something. Yeah, for now I'm gonna rebuild before I, you know, throw myself into the action. Actually, how much civs do I have? None. Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, I need to get rid of that ASAP. That is pretty disgusting. All right, fully rebuilt now. So I will join the faction, but since it's like not an event, so decision, so I can literally wait with that. I'm gonna wait with that until, you know, probably gonna be the Moscow Accord, if I'm being honest. All right, now the greatest threat to our existence right now is the nation of Bhutan, so we have to defeat them early on, or else they're gonna grow too powerful and destroy us. Let's demand some of the border regions here and there while China is still destroying themselves. Of course, they're gonna give it to us without a fight, because it would be kind of stupid if they didn't. And now we can also demand this small state here, and we can destroy Myanmar or Burma or whatever. I might join Japan. or not. Before I declare, I'm gonna prepare a little bit since they are guaranteed by Japan, so I'll have to fight them. Actually, let's declare right now. Alright, Burma is vanquished. They did never join the co-prosperity sphere. But yeah, let's help them push Siam into the ground. Anyway, tank division right here. 800 breakthrough, 1200 soft attack. Yeah, it's gonna work. This is the tank template, main tank, and this is the flame tank. I can upgrade this actually, but there's no bot. I can't just upgrade it. I don't know what I'm doing. I can also upgrade the other one now with better radio, and I can also do this now since I can actually get up to 8 kilometers per hour. So why don't we do that? Wenn schon, denn schon, you know. 2 of these, so let's do that. It's a bit stalemate since the terrain is dog shit, the supplies are dog shit, and these guys are also eating up all the supplies, man, which sucks, but whatever. I improved like the railways, so should be better now, but yeah. Anyway, Triumph of the Razakars. The scenes in Delhi this morning can be described in many words, but none are more apt than simply chaos. Clearly emboldened by the Nazim's over-reliance upon them, the Razakars have seized control of the capital, with the Divan and anyone close to him having been arrested. According to a speech given by Razvi, the justification for this action is alleged treason, with him stating that the Divan was planning on ousting Osman and restoring the dissolved Council of Princes to full power, and that they cannot allow such a surrender to happen. For Osman himself, news of this coup first reached him upon waking up to armed Razakars storming his bedroom, followed an hour later by Razvi himself arriving to explain the situation. After enough arguing and enough persuasion from the Razakars, an agreement was reached which declared Razvi the new Divan, granting him unchecked powers to root out any further alleged treason throughout the nation. Unrest has swept the nation, with most of its peoples, Hindus especially, hearing what new hell has been unleashed upon them. We should have shot Razvi when we had the chance. Well, kids, and that is what happens if you rely on the green ideology to do your bidding. In Kaiserreich, green. National populist is what I mean. Anyway, now we are national populist. Isn't that great? Anyway, let's get a spy master, which, by the way, I should actually use these things. Oh my god. Alright, with us breaking through into Bangkok, yeah, I think this should be, we should be able to destroy them now. It's like a boatload of Japanese troops here, by the way, like, hello? Like, what is the AI's problem always, man? I swear to god. Okay, can you guys stop attacking? For the love of god, you are not gonna win this. Let me take over, man. For your information, they almost have 5 million casualties. What the hell are these casualties actually though, bro? Now I'm just gonna wait till my navy is ready, that I'm building up, or have been building up for a bit now, and also upgrade them now. Alright, took a bit, because I, like I said, had to, you know, build up a navy. We did that mainly build destroyers and the ships I got from the focus tree. It's torpedo spam as always, and yeah, we've, yeah, we can just launch our invasion now to Taiwan, and from there we go to the Japanese islands. EP. Okay, can you guys protect my ships, please? And there it is. We have landed. Let's take over the island and from there take over the Japanese main island. Thanks to Russia declaring on Japan, I can join them now, which I wanted to do from the start. So that's great. So is that gonna piece me out with them? We'll see. Alright, got into a bit of a scuffle with my navy, so I had to repair for 4 months, I think. And yeah, now we can launch our invasion easily and, you know, take over Japan. So let's just do that. Yeah, they pieced out. And I don't get my claims because, you know, I could never do the focus for it. Actually, do I have claims there? I do have claims there. So, like, why do I not get my claims back? Hello? Why do I not get my claims back if I occupy them? I think this should be changed in that piece out, to be honest. Man, this kind of sucks. I had the slight feeling that is what was gonna happen. Where do they get Madras, bro? Okay. To make it fair, I'm just gonna give it with via, like, transferred piece to the transfer state, because, like, you know, I would get that. I should get that. This should be changed. Look, like, honestly, this should be changed. If, like, I'm in a Moscow Accord and, you know, they decide to peace out because they control their islands or, like, you know, push them into their mainland, blah 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 thing, that, you know, their allies that have claims here and there should also get them then. Alright, now we just need to claim Goa, and yeah, then we have everything we want, basically. And they just gave it us, nice. Or do I just immediately get it and then they decide to declare war or no? I think they just gave it then, if nothing else comes. Yeah, we're now in the Moscow court, so that's great. Did I do the Tilsiter court? Nope. But yeah, of course, Nanjing click 1. This was to be expected, to be honest, sadly. I did send a lot of equipment to these guys down there, but that did not do anything. And yeah, now it would be great if I gotten the territory I wanted, you know, through either Russia piecing out or just, capitulating Japan. Now I could have just not joined Russia and capitulated them, to be honest. Boy, I was hoping that, I could get these things anyway if Russia piece out or something. Yeah, sucks, but whatever. Anyway, that's kind of like everything there is now. Like, I'm done with the focus tree for a while now. These two focuses here were the only ones I didn't do because I didn't care. And yeah, with that, I will end it here. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you also wanna see a video on the other 2 Indian unifiers, even though it's kind of just gonna be the same, just different politics-wise, I guess, let me know. And other than that, hope you enjoyed it. And if you wanna see more, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And see you next time. Bye bye!